And welcome back to Saturday Report. I am Rita Cosby. The war in Ukraine now in its 108th day. Chuck Holton is standing by with more from the very front lines there in Donbass. Chuck, fill us in on the latest. You have been there for quite some time.
That's right, Rita. We just returned from 3 days embedded with Ukrainian troops, taking a little bit of a tour along the Donbass province, along the front lines out there. Today, we got literally within 2 or 3 kilometers of Russian forces who were actively shelling and bombing the Ukrainian forces. It's been going all night and all day out there. In talking to those forces, it's been very interesting to hear their take on this war. What they say is that this thing could be over much sooner if they could just get the ammunition and the artillery that they need to do the job, because they feel like they have not been able to get enough artillery. They say for every artillery shell that they fire at the Russians, they get 10 of them coming back. And so they have to be very judicious in how they use their resources out there. And they have a much longer train of logistics to get things out there than the Russians do.
What is the situation also in other parts of the country? Because obviously the Donbass is the region, but we just heard some really heightened rhetoric, Chuck, from Vladimir Putin in recent days, where he basically said the whole intent of the invasion was to basically expand Russia, is what everybody else always thought. But how concerned are they that it is definitely going to spill over well beyond that eastern region? And as you talk about, they still have that advantage on the artillery, that 10-to-1 that you talked about.
That's right. But the artillery, what it comes down to is range. And so the artillery can only go maybe up to 30 or 40 kilometers. And everything else, they have to use their rockets, which come from ships out in the Gulf, or their longer range rockets. And what that means is that they can sort of randomly fire rockets at any place in Ukraine. They can blow up the building right behind me if they wanted to, although their fires are not that precise. But they have to get within 30 kilometers in order to actually use their artillery, which is what they have a lot of. They're running out of the rockets, and so it's not likely that they're going to be able to take, for example, this city, Dnipro, that I'm in right now, because it would just take them months and months and months. They have not been able to take any city in Ukraine that they have not first reduced to rubble. And so Mariupol, Kherson, those cities, they had to absolutely wreck them in order to take those cities. And right now they're being held off along a 500-meter front on the eastern, in the Donbass region, by the Ukrainian forces. So they're doing a good job, but they say they need more ammo.
Yeah, that seems to be the big issue, that they are saying we need a lot more from the West. Chuck, thank you very much, and you stay safe, especially as close as you're getting right there to the front lines. Thank you very, very much. And joining us now to discuss the very latest is Ukrainian Parliament member Rudik, who is in Kyiv. Kira, it's been a little bit since we spoke with you, and it's so great to see you, first of all. We've been thinking about you, and we've been keeping you, gosh, in our thoughts and prayers. What's the morale of everybody there in Ukraine?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. So the morale is still very high. We just started receiving the weapons that were promised to us at the very beginning of the war. And echoing what Chuck said, we do need more weapons. We know that we can win this war. We know we can win it fast, as long as we get enough of the supplies, enough of the weapons, enough of everything. And this is why I'm knocking on every single possible door. I'm talking to every possible politician, and this is the same that every Ukrainian member of parliament is doing, saying, give our army more and more support. This is what we need. We already putting our lives in the line. Just give us the support so we will be able to actually push Russians back. The morale is high also because next week there will be a decision on if Ukraine will have a candidacy status in European Union. This is what is an aim of Ukrainian people. This is one of the reasons why Putin attacked. And it is written in Ukrainian constitution, joining NATO, joining EU. And right now, when all these negotiations are happening, all Ukrainians are waiting for this decision because it should be like a huge boost to the morale, saying, yes, we are making strides forward. All our sacrifices were not for nothing. We are actually going to the future that we put for ourselves. And our future is in Europe.
Bravo. We'll all be watching that too. I want to ask you, Kira, there's a petition to allow men to leave the country. Should that be allowed to happen? Because obviously we heard first off that all the Ukrainians, the men would have to stay back, because we saw so many images, of course, of the women and children that were leaving the country and fleeing and going to Poland and elsewhere. But why is that happening now? I'm curious, because as we just heard from Chuck, things are still obviously very tense, as you know better than anybody.
Well, I would say 90% of Ukrainian men are staying and fighting. There are specific professions, like, for example, sailors or for truck drivers, etc., that would need to have a permission to go out, and they do not have this permission right now. In Ukrainian parliament, we are working on the rules so that would allow men who definitely need to get out and then come back to do so without having, like, any holes that people with bad intentions would be able to use. So we will at some point allow that, but for specific professions and for specific purposes, and with the guarantees that men will come back. I'm not sure that this petition is created for people who want to flee. This is just to make it easier for the ones who really need it to continue doing their jobs. Because you know how we say, if you can fight, you fight. If you cannot fight, you make money for your country, because we really, really do need it.
Yeah, and by the way, as you know, I mean, so many people have even, who were able to leave, are coming back because they want to fight for freedom and fight for your country. What's your message to the West right now? Because now it's in the 4th month, as you talk about, many people are saying that the West could be doing more. I was disillusioned to see that McDonald's now just opened up a restaurant in Russia. They had suspended operations. There's still a number of countries that are still buying Russian oil. What do you say to those folks? And also, what do you say to the West in terms of the weaponry that you obviously need to try to seal this, to try to, as opposed to sort of this drips and drabs, as you mentioned, that some weapons are just starting to come in? That's incredible.
You know, it's easier to be Ukrainian right now because we have a definite plan. Our plan is to fight and to ask for more and more support. But when we are talking about democratic countries, I do not see a unified plan that these countries would have. We all know that we have to defeat Russia. I do not see how the free world would operate if Russia, God forbid, wins this war, or will be able to get away with all the atrocities and crimes that they committed. So we right now need to be ready for this united push. And this push consists of the weapons that we need, and we need it fast. Not in 3 months, not in 6 months, but we need it right now. Second, it's sanctions. We need to push Russia hard. We need to cut all the ties that are happening. We need to cut all the $1 billion a day that European countries are paying to Russia. Third point, we need to make sure that all the businesses that even have in mind working or renewing work with Russia will not be able to do that by legislation, by political risks, by reputational risks. The only way to defeat Russia is unified effort, and every single country who says that they are a democratic country, who says that they are a free country, needs to take their part in that. Yep. If we will do this, we will win, because Ukrainians will definitely not change their plan. Our plan is to fight. Our plan is victory. What we need from the West is the unified support.
Well, Kira, we wish you so much luck, and I will tell you, the spirit and the fight in the Ukrainian people has been incredible, and I hope that you get everything you need. Thank you. It's great to see you, too. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, and glory to Ukraine.
Thank you. Glory to Ukraine.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.